They're back! This October, get ready for more magic, mayhem, and sibling rivalry. Fantagraphics presents Santo Sisters Volume 2, collecting issues 6 through 10 of the Eisner Award-winning comic book series. This deluxe hardcover is packed with a Technicolor chaos you crave. Don't miss out. Grab the sisters' latest adventures this October wherever great books are sold. Santo Sisters Volume 2, twice the magic, double the trouble.
Hey everyone, welcome back to 22 Panels. This is the podcast that aims to examine, explore, and elevate the medium of comics. I almost forgot. I am Tyler, and across
Elevate's
the
the
interwebs,
important one. If you
I was
like the other two can go and
elevate.
you can flip them over. You like if you explore, examine, explore, whatever.
Well, it was funny because it sounded like
you even came up with a different E word, that'd be fine. But elevate is important. You're a comic shop owner, Tyler. Elevate is the important word.
I'm so tired.
Okay, it's tiredness. I thought you had an elevated air about you as you were saying that. Like I could hear your pinky in the air. There was some
elevate.
Elevate. Indeed, we can take it back up there, guys.
No, that pause was, what's the other word? Elevate. Okay. Thanks for listening, you guys. I've got across the interwebs from me.
See, you've got this wonderfully blank forehead. We could tattoo it across the forehead, and then you could just look at yourself on screen and have the words
reflected.
Examine, explore, elevate.
We'll need to get them like ambulance text, or else,
right.
We'll have to worry about that one. Yeah. Ordering coffee will be a nightmare for you, but you'll remember for the podcast.
No, it's funny. All right, so it's the weekend again. How's it going, guys?
It's going good. It's been a good week. I went up to Duluth and Minneapolis on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
22 panels on the road.
I mean, for the most part, it was just Tad on the road. But I did wind up meeting with both Tom Kaczynski of Uncivilized and Emily Mayer of the Insert Name.
Oh, awesome!
Best while I was in Minneapolis, so that did some 22 panels float over, and there's actually at least.
I'd love to imagine that y'all recorded in your car, while driving around the city.
I have done that sort of thing.
Oh.
I mean, not where everybody was in my car, but like where I was traveling and recorded from the car.
Wow.
Tyler and I think did a regular episode once while I was driving during the ill-advised comic shop tour.
Yeah, you just talked from your car. Yeah.
Yeah. and I know at least once I've done an episode while Kelly was driving the car while we were going somewhere for like an interview or book club, I forget which. So it has happened. It is not overall the ideal. I know we shifting gears. I know we kind of had something picked out for next week for Great Responsibility, but I kind of want to.
Already ready to? You're throwing a wrench. You're throwing a wrench before.
I am, because we lost Marjane Satrapi this week.
Oh.
And I haven't read Persepolis in many, many years, and I think it's worth a read and a talk.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And depending on how we feel, we might even, because everybody knows Persepolis, we might even take the following week to do embroideries or I can't remember the names of the other books right now.
Gotcha. I was wondering, should we split it up into books 1 and 2 like it is, or
I think trying to do the full Persepolis is worthwhile. I don't know if I have the energy to do
2 weeks of
2
Persepolis.
weeks of Persepolis right
Okay.
now.
It'd be like doing 2 weeks of Mouse almost.
Yeah. Like if we were gonna do
It's just a
Mouse,
lot.
I
It's
think I'd
heavy.
rather do it in 1 week.
Yeah,
Yep, get it over with.
big
So,
time.
And in some ways, like, and I have many of her other works and haven't actually managed to read as many
Oh.
of them as I'd like, but I've heard that, well, they have the same eye and the same like critical look at society and whatnot. Some of the other stuff is not heavy in the same ways.
Hmm.
That's one of the reasons that I wouldn't mind trying to do a two week thing
Hmm.
for Satrapi. Particularly because like and I've only looked at a handful of the tributes so far, but what I've noticed just from this podcast is Satrapi had an outsized influence on both a generation of women and specifically a generation of colored women
Hmm.
getting into comics. You know,
mhm.
the I mean, Alison Bechdel also had the huge influence on getting women into comics, etc. But like, I very we very rarely have a conversation, right? Lately with um women under the age of 30 where Satrapi doesn't come up,
Right.
you know.
Mhm.
Um and I just know I haven't spent enough time with her work and I would like to, and this seems like a good excuse. So
Yeah.
I'm using my benevolent dictator powers to say I'm throwing out whatever our idea for next week was, which is like completely escaped my
No.
mind anyway.
Oh, how could you forget about that incredible work?
What was it?
It was the seeds.
The seeds,
Oh, it
man.
is an
Yeah.
incredible work,
Yeah.
and I love David Aja, and I love,
Yeah.
but I mean, it would essentially be something that we were reading
Yeah.
just because it was an incredible work, not because of
Exactly.
immediate relevance.
I
Um,
mean, aliens are in the news a lot these days.
Fair, but I mean, even Ronin for this week, I picked
Hmm.
it out because I'm reading advanced copy of um Miller's upcoming prose autobiography.
Oh, wow.
And when I read the Ronin chapter, I went, "Oh, I need to go revisit this because I'm
Mm.
looking, among other things, I didn't have it in the right place in the Miller timeline even."
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and when I realized where it was in the timeline and he
Hmm.
wrote about it and whatnot, I'm like, I haven't read this book in 20 years. I need to go relook at it because this is one of the things to like sell the graph or sell the
Hmm.
the
Wasn't it
autobiography with
the uh
is
the missing link between Daredevil and Batman, kind of?
it is kind of
Yeah.
and that's part of what I had, and we'll get more into it before, but that's part of what I hadn't fully internalized is that it came
Hmm.
before Batman Returns
Okay.
or Dark Knight
Yeah.
Returns. For whatever reason in my head, it was something they let him do after Dark Knight,
Interesting.
you
Yeah.
know, whereas in reality, he had managed to make a big enough name for himself from Daredevil that that
Hmm.
that Jeanette Kahn gave him the space. But again, we'll get into that in a little bit. Um, Otherwise, I will say, the other thing with Marjane Satrapi and like, I don't need more details and I don't care about more details. And it can absolutely, I mean, I've worked enough in senior care, I've lived long enough, etc. But the official word from her family is that she died of sadness.
Oh, wow.
Her husband died about a year ago,
Hmm.
and like the world without him was just not. And again, like I've certainly seen in older groups one partner goes and then the other almost, follows quickly. Which is why I'm not trying to say, oh, this means that there's something nefarious or whatever. And it may or may not even have a ton to do with the world, other than the fact that the person that most helped her navigate the world was no longer there. But it's like that reality of how valuable human connection can be.
Yeah.
So, on much brighter news, Dark Horse voluntarily recognized their union this week.
That's step in the good right direction. Always like to hear that as opposed to the non-acknowledgement. That's always awkward.
I mean, that's the standard for most industries, is like they acknowledge their union when they're legally required to. How they work in collective bargaining obviously is the next question, but like it's a massive thing that they voluntarily recognize the union rather than forcing elections and any kind of intimidation and or pseudo intimidation on the way.
Right. Gosh, it is wild how deeply baked in anti-union sentiments are to just the American workforce. To where, like, I know
well, and particularly considering how huge unions were not long before the three of us were alive.
Exactly. Helping
the shift from unions being baked into the American workforce to anti-union sentiment being baked into the American workforce has practically happened during Tyler and I's lifetime.
A complete reversal.
Like Nixon and Ford started planting some seeds, but like it was Reagan and the first Bush, and the fact that Clinton certainly didn't go the other way.
Yeah.
And then the second Bush, and Obama started to go the other way, but didn't, like, it wasn't a high priority of his. I mean, I just like to call it the way I see it. Obama was hands down the greatest president of my lifetime, but he wasn't the greatest union president of my lifetime. That absolutely goes to Biden. Biden's probably the best union president since Roosevelt.
Wow. Strong words.
The downside is, like, Biden had some other glaring deficiencies that made the strength he had for unions. I mean, the problem with presidents is like, problem with presidencies is often like that one major deficiency can wind up derailing all of the good things that you do.
Yep. I mean, that's, in my mind, that's Jimmy Carter,
That's Jimmy Carter. That's Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Only there's slightly more than one glaring deficiency.
Yeah. I'd also love to say that when you said both the first Bush and the second Bush, literal shrubbery popped into my head.
Same. I went Bush, and then you went second Bush. I went,
and I'm like, okay.
That's exactly what I did. Because then you said second Bush. I'm like, I was
the second Bush.
I'm like, there's a dirty joke there. Second Bush.
Of course.
There's a dirty joke.
You take it from shrubbery.
This leads perfectly into what kind of week has it been, and I don't know if it was Tyler or Phil that wants me to not even ask.
I mean,
I will just toss out. Well, I just noticed that somebody typed it in the last couple of minutes.
We needed something. We needed a tagline of some sort.
That's fair. But the one thing I will say that's like just emblematic of like. So, Jared and Ivanka have bought an island in the Mediterranean that they want to develop for like luxury resort. But no, Phil, that's almost not the worst part.
Okay.
Because Ivanka actually did an interview where like she talked about how she'd been thinking a lot about how people like to or want to live right now and how she wants to live and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yes, everybody would love to live on a deserted island, but or a secluded island,
Mhm.
but you understand that for most people that's dream thinking, right?
Right.
That like when you're giving
That's
an interview talking
yeah.
like that in such a way that you were like it wasn't lifestyles of the rich and famous. It was like
Just
it
like,
might have been
oh,
Fox News or whatnot, but like the audience was people that were going, which people are you talking about?
right. Holy crap. I mean,
And
that's
then
even
on top of that, all of that, they're kind of shocked that the it's closest to Albania. It's officially Albanian territory. They're kind of shocked at the level of protest the Albanian people have been doing,
You
even
don't
though
say.
until until like 2024-5 when they started talking to the Albanian president, this island was protected.
wow.
It has both plant and animal species that aren't seen anywhere else in the world.
How am I not surprised?
Oh yes,
That's
let's let the Trumps live there, please.
right. Oh no, please. My
Well,
first.
and like she starts out like, oh, we were just on a friend's yacht, or she didn't even call it a yacht. We were on a friend's
Mhm.
boat in the Mediterranean. We just came across this nice place, and we went swimming, and then we looked into it, and
Yeah, I that was literally the clip
like
that I
she
saw.
discovered the island.
Right. And that was the clip I saw. I didn't recognize it was her that was talking because, I don't like looking at these people's faces.
Yeah, yeah.
And then but the title of the video was this is going to be Epstein Island 2.0. And it was just like
Oh yes.
and it's just like, well, that's horrifying. I don't really need that in my
I mean,
mind space.
I don't actually even know if that's true because
I don't either.
they seem to be wanting to develop it at a level that like it would be really hard to actually turn it into Epstein Island
Sure.
because part of what made Epstein Island work was the absolute level of
Security. Yeah, I mean,
how few people were allowed there
Yeah.
and how few people were allowed there at a time. And if they're talking like 1,000 villas,
Right. Yeah, that's not exactly
you've
it's not
probably
exactly
crossed the threshold where you can keep
yeah.
many things secret.
Yeah, and instead, then when you were talking about the thing that popped in my head was, do rich people not have enough like vacation spots already? Like, are they really like, I'm tired of all of the wonderful places in the world. I need to
Well, I
build
mean,
more.
this is where you get into exactly how separated they are,
Hmm.
or how like because their answer would be, oh, but the type of people that are there.
I'm sure, yes, I'm sure there would be all kinds of abhorrent bullshit that they would spew as to why
Right.
they
And by
need
the way, when they say the
another
type that
luxury
people
hotel.
that they're there, they're not even talking like there might be colored people or whatnot. They're
Poor
like
people. There might be
Tyler
poor
and
people.
his beard might be there.
I
yeah,
mean, I know I haven't been within 100 feet of Tyler and his beard, so.
nobody can be.
I mean, they're not talking about like they're not even necessarily talking about poor people. They're talking about people who have to think about money
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
ever.
They're talking about an ecosystem that is not 1,000% directed towards the ultra wealthy,
Right.
That's what they're wanting.
Right.
They're wanting a
Because
Lazarus
the
Island.
people who aren't ultra wealthy, well, why aren't they? I mean, why did they decide to be ultra wealthy?
I mean,
It's pretty fun.
I
Why
know I
wouldn't you
made a
want to
mistake
be?
when I wasn't
Right.
born with $1 billion. That why I should have been born
No,
with $1 billion.
they work hard for their money, Phil.
Why
It's
don't
hard
you?
to be a child of a monster.
Why don't you work hard, Phil?
That's what I ask myself every day. Why
If
don't I
you
work hard?
I mean,
you don't have
if
$1 billion,
you
there's a
wanted to
reason.
go to these islands, you just need to dedicate yourself to working hard.
Yep, that's it. Just need to live and breathe it.
You should get into real estate.
Put down the comics and pick up the paperwork.
You should get into real estate. You know, I mean, if you just drop a few hundred million here and it
Hmm.
turns into $1 billion.
Naturally, yeah.
like
You know,
almost overnight.
I just
Well,
have
why
to
don't
hedge
you
it.
do that, Phil?
Just hedge my funds, you know. I
I
heard,
like
I
that.
heard, I heard they had bushes in the White House, so hedges can do a lot these days, right?
There we go.
Whoa.
Let's talk some new to order comics. Initial orders are due June 25th. We'll start with some new comic series. Denver, #1. The writing team behind one of the most fabulous runs of Jonah Hex is back together. Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray with art from Pierre Brito at Mad Cave in a near future world drowned by rising oceans. Ooh, that's the other like danger of like the whole island living thing. Maybe we should convince more of them to do the island living thing.
Wait, don't islands float?
I mean, we should tell them that. If we tell them that all evidence to the contrary is fake news, they
Right?
might believe us.
You
Uh,
just get enough floaty toys and water wings under there,
right,
float your
right.
island. Yeah.
In a near future world drowned by rising oceans, Denver survives as one of the last tightly controlled safe zones on the planet, where every resource is rationed and every citizen is monitored. Max Flynn, a veteran border officer struggling to protect his family under these unforgiving rules, is shattered when his wife is suddenly kidnapped. A mysterious enemy forces him to betray Denver from within or lose her forever. As Mac assembles a trusted crew and descends into the city's underbelly, his desperate hunt threatens to expose the cracks in Denver's rigid order and ignite a reckoning that could end the last safe city on Earth. This is Final Order Cutoff August 3rd and released August 26th from Mad Cave Comics.
All right. Next up, we've got Dream Math, a one-shot from Tom Herpich at Floating World. A day in the life of the author becomes a meditation on round trips, both physical and psychological, shining a light on the joy of boredom, the magic of repetition, and the beauty of solitude. It's going to be a final order cutoff of June 29th, in shop September 30th from Floating World Comics.
Next up, you guys, we have EC's Shell Shock from Julio Anta and Tom Fowler. New wars, new soldiers, same old price to pay. Kiss your rifle and swallow your fear, because EC Comics is rotating back into combat for the 21st century's first dose of two-fisted fury with staggering new tales of war and fighting men in our next giant-size special. Meet mankind's greatest enemy of all, himself. From Oni Press, this will be final order cut off June 13th and in shops August 19th.
All right, then there's Ghost of a Ghost, #1 from Mike Mignola and Michael Avon Owen and Taki Soma on colors over at Dark Horse. After being exposed to Enceladite in Giant Robot Hellboy, super spy Agent Jian uses her newfound powers as part of a mysterious spy ring entrusted to investigate Enceladite stores and keep the powerful material out of the wrong hands. But just whose hands are the wrong ones is harder to determine than she thought. It's going to have a final order cutoff of August 17th in stores September 23rd from Dark Horse Comics as part of the Hellboy universe.
All right, guys, we have Hillbilly, the Treason of 12, of 12 Toe Maggie. Excuse me.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Treason of 12 Toe Maggie.
You guys don't have 12 toes?
From Eric Powell, from Dark Horse. There are many tales of Rondel the Wandering Hillbilly. This is but one. Some years after the Great Witch War, Rondel, in order to save an old friend, finds himself in an uncomfortable situation in the service of his former captor, 12-Toe Maggie. Well, will he break the magical tie that binds him to the 12-toed witch, or will the wielder of the Devil's Cleaver be at her service forever? This is from Dark Horse, final order cutoff of August 24th and in shop September 30th.
Regicide #1 or Regicide #1, depending on which country you're speaking in. Patrick Kindon Ludovic Laliat from Image Comics, a doomed march through Transylvania. A farmhand lives a simple life until village elders insist he set out for the capital with a dangerous stranger. Their mission? Kill the murderous viceroy of Transylvania. This is from Image Comics. Final order cutoff July 20th and in stores on August 12th. Let's talk some graphic novels. I think you're up first, Mr. Tyler.
Mr. Tyler, bite me, Tad. No, that's what the book's called. Bite Me, Jennifer Dugan and Kit Seaton from Penguin. Poe never imagined that during her senior year of high school, she would be attacked by a pair of vampires and turned into one herself. And she never dreamed her longtime crush, Jolie, who seemed to maybe actually like Poe back, would turn out to be a slayer. This is going to be in shops, final order cutoff of July 27th and in shops August 25th from Penguin. Oh.
Frostbite by Ian Boothby and Pia Guerra of Y the Last Man and political cartooning fame from Scholastic Books. Siblings Jen and Dante are social media influencers and post videos of themselves doing extreme sports. But when they jump out of a helicopter to ski down a mountain, the stunt goes awry. Dante's ankle gets slashed, and the helicopter crew, who were supposed to be waiting at the bottom of the mountain, are nowhere to be found. As the confused teens seek answers, they meet up with some locals and soon find themselves flesh to fang with a group of frost vampires. Their only hope for survival is to make it to sunrise when the vampires become dormant under the snow once again. This is final order cutoff of June 29th and in stores August 5th from Scholastic.
Alrighty, now we've got, I'm going to preemptively apologize for any mispronunciations here. Puebla, the stories of Dolores Huerta and Sal Castro. Did you have was that okay?
Yep, that's all good.
Gotcha. All right. From Henry Barajas, Louis Chin, and Gab Contreras over at Good Trouble. 1968 was a turning point in American history. Countless activists were at the forefront of fighting for the rights of migrant farm workers and East LA students, with two in particular standing out, Dolores Huerta and Sal Castro. Originally created for classrooms, Puebla highlights Latin history figures who revolutionized the American farm worker, and these stories are now available for all. That's going to have a final order cutoff of June 29th in stores August 5th. And now next up, it is graphic novel.
No. I'm going to jump in really quick.
Jump in. Do it.
Because Henry will be joining us on the podcast this week.
Oh, excellent.
Which is the only reason that I didn't highlight this. I'm totally cool with you highlighting it. Yeah, but I was going to talk about it when I could say, and go listen to the issue with Henry Barajas. But now I'll say, look out for the episode coming. I will be talking with Henry Barajas, I think tomorrow, actually.
Nice.
So yeah.
There we go. So now, next up is a graphic novel adaptation of a classic, Macbeth, by Kay Briggs over at Avery Hill. A vivid graphic novel adaptation of Shakespeare's Macbeth, faithful to the original text with a new lavish rendition, when three witches prophesy to Macbeth that he will one day become the King of Scotland. An epic of unhappiness, treachery, and blood begins. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth's ambitions lead to an ever-growing path of murder as Macbeth grows ever closer to the throne. But where will it all end? Only with death and with madness. Influenced by the witches and magic of Macbeth, Kay Briggs' lush new graphic novel rendition of the classic provides a new interpretation of the Scottish play. Going to have a final order cutoff of July 13th in stores August 12th.
Chad's turn.
On their front lines, Marina Lisa Kamiya at Fantagraphics. After Japan lost the war, the country was thrown into devastation. No one felt his devastation as much as Japanese women. Best friends, and possibly more before the war, Haru and Yoriko are separated in the evacuation of their towns during the air raids. As they search for each other afterward, Haru gets by as a waitress while Yoriko sells her body at a brothel. Their fortunes change when they each meet respectful American soldiers who take their hand. Arthur, a Japanese American, grapples with the inner conflict of his dual identity, while Scott is at once fascinated by Japanese culture and racked with guilt over the destruction American forces have wrought. Amidst the post-war desolation, love finds a way. Final order cutoff is July 20th, and this will be out from Fantagraphics on August 26th. All
Sounds
right.
really good.
I get to lead off with collections too. The Blood Brothers Mother from Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Risso, one of the fantastic books that's come out from Distillery. In the old American West, 3 children set off across the wild Texas frontier to rescue their mother, kidnapped by ruthless outlaws who gunned down their preacher father. Throughout their journey, they'll face the harsh elements of the unforgiving landscape, deadly animals hungry for blood, merciless bounty hunters, and so much more, all in a relentless quest to rescue their family. Along the way, they'll learn the terrible cost of revenge, not just in lives, but in how it stains a soul. While revenge may be satisfying in the moment, it leaves a yearning behind that lasts a lifetime. And once you taste it, nothing else is ever so sweet. This is final order cutoff of July 6th, in stores September 15th from Distillery.
All right. Next up is No Place from Tim Seeley and Stefano Simone from Ignition. Mariposa Montiel is having a cruel homecoming. As the daughter of immigrants, the outcast teenager is no stranger to scrutiny, but this is another level. Years after vanishing from her Chicago neighborhood, Mari has returned to a traumatized family and a media circus with nothing but a tiger-striped feather and an extraordinary tale of her time away as the champion of a magical jungle land called Mayhula? Is that correct? Mayhula?
Mayhuela?
Mayhuela. Mari is met as a fraud, and her story makes her a stranger in her own life until an eccentric, high-tech organization known as No Place emerges from the shadows and welcomes her home. Led by a legend of the land of Oz, the secret agency has its finger on the pulse of so-called fictional worlds. And as its newest recruit, Mari is now called upon to save our own world from a creeping Lovecraftian nightmare. Final order cutoff of July 13th and will be in shop September 1st. From Ignition.
Alrighty, next up there's Viking Moon by Joe Pruitt and Marcelo Fruzen over at Image Comics. Vikings versus werewolves. Leif Erikson established a Viking settlement in present-day Newfoundland, a strange new world or plenty, but populated by an indigenous people and something else, something unnatural. 20 years after the original exploration ended in disaster, a new attempt to settle this wilderness is made. Ulf and his hardened tribe of Vikings soon discover that the whispers of creatures who are both human and beast are not primitive legend, but death-bringing reality. The real reason the Vikings fled North America. You can have a final order cutoff of July 20th in stores August 26th. And now it is time for the final order cutoff with Tad.
Final order cutoff for the week of Monday. Well, this week, cutoff date is Monday, June 15th. We have Banana number one from Joshua Dysart and Kevin McGuire at Bad Idea, out on July 15th. The super rare variant cover on this that is like it comes with an actual banana duct tape to the comic.
I would love if there was
like the artwork, right?
Yeah,
the stupid artwork.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's limited to something low like 7. But like I love.
Shops will be taping their own bananas to copies to increase market value.
I love that. Oh, that actually just. I don't even think we should.
It's too late. It's a bad idea. It's out there.
No. We shouldn't tape them, but I need to tell Edgar and Lee that like on July 15th, we need to have free bananas for anybody who buys banana number 1.
There you go. That's a pretty good one.
And then have
I mean, you can get bananas for like 30 cents a piece.
I think they're only like 15 at Trader Joe's.
Hey,
duct tape is available should they decide they want to attach it.
Duct tape it to the wall so that it looks like the art installation that we all laughed at. And then
Clayface Celebrity Dirt number 1 from Jude Ellison S. Doyle and Fran Gallen at DC Comics, out on July 8th. Exquisite Corpses, Randy Rascal #1 from Tyler Boss at Image Comics, out on July 8th. Godzilla versus America, San Diego,
My birthplace.
from various artists, out from IDW on July 22nd. And I just got to say, there have been some like interesting decisions in terms of who does stuff for like the Chicago one. Everybody had a Chicago connection, but like half of them weren't currently living in Chicago.
Mm.
This one, I think, essentially, it's like, it's not quite if you've been to San Diego, like
If you've ever been to Comic-Con.
like, no, I don't think it's quite that. Like, I think there's at least one creator that like has real ties to San Diego, but like Greg and Fake have a story. And they're not tied to San Diego at all, except for the Eisner Award that the Santos sisters won.
Right. We'll get them there. We'll get them there somehow.
So, I mean, and that's cool because the stories are definitely supposed to be more. They're about the area. They don't have to be from creators at the area. But I just laughed when I saw that. I'm like, but they're from Chicagoland, and Greg's now in Milwaukee, and Fake is in Mexico.
Wow.
How do and not Western Mexico, like the East Coast of Mexico?
I was gonna say, is he in Baja California? No. Okay. It was close. We tried. Couldn't get there.
But I mean, still cool. I mean, I've been loving this series through and through. Like, these are the things that make my autistic brain laugh, not the reasons why people should go, oh, false advertising. Don't buy that. They don't know San Diego. I'm pretty certain that Godzilla versus America San Diego might as well be Godzilla versus America San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So yeah. But it made me smile. Lovers of the Empire, Volume 1 from Eudori at Fantagraphics, out August 19th, and Sicko #1 from Teeny Howard and Emil Pena at Ignition Press, out July 22nd. Phil, you want to take us through a pretty extensive list of crowdfunding right now?
Oh yeah, come with me. We have a
really, really fantastic. Really
Phil,
fantastic.
Do it like Mr. Rogers, right? One of the arm waves. Come on.
I was
just
thinking
really quickly, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3.
I was going to say
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the 12 we've already had people on specifically for this Kickstarter.
Right. Fastest way to get on this list is to talk to Tad.
A 9th, we had the creator on for one of the earlier volumes of the thing being kickstarted here, and a 10th I will be talking to this afternoon.
There we go. Trying to keep the percentage up,
So yes, that is, like, you want to get mentioned weekly in our Kickstarters. The best way to do that is to have been on the show. And then I'll also plug the episode, which will make people that much more interested in your Kickstarter. So
there we go. There we go.
We've got Kickstarter synchronicity.
Oh,
take it away, Phil.
There we go. So we've got Lab Zero Remix, a comics magazine hacking pop culture, from Ronald Wimberly, on Kickstarter through June 9th. So get it while you can if you're listening to this right after drop. After that, there's That One Matt Boers comic from Matt Boers and Glenn Fleischman on Kickstarter through June 11th. Go listen to that talk Tad had with Matt and Glenn, I believe. John of the Night by Daryl Cunningham with Avery Hill on Kickstarter through June 19th. Nighthawks by Jimmy Lee with Goats Flying Press on Kickstarter through June 25th. The 2026 Insert Name Comics and Zine Fest from Emily Mayer and Ryan Carey, throwing that one on Kickstarter through June 29th. The fest is Sunday, August 30th from noon to 6 p.m. at Oddmart 2520 Lindale Avenue, South Minneapolis.
And this is where I'm going to jump in really quick because, like, Tyler, the next time you're bored and have 5 hours, you need to drive to Minneapolis and back just to go to Oddmart for an hour because it is one of the best curated, like, indie alternative, progressive graphic novel selections I have ever seen.
Wow. That's some high praise.
I was there on Thursday and I was blown away. Like the amount of money I wanted to spend, like it was on par. And this was even setting aside the fact that there was an issue of Raw number 8 for $100 that I wanted.
Wow.
The amount of money that I wanted to spend was like on par with stores 5 or 6 times its size.
Wow.
That's great.
That's impressive.
You know, what they have is really great and it's well organized, they're
Chap at Oddmart.
Oddmart is very cool.
I am certainly going to check it out. I'm on their Facebook right now. Here's the description: store of the strange, gum, comics, art, t-shirts, vintage.
Nice.
That's what they have listed.
That's funny.
Yep.
Gum specifically makes the headline. Next up,
Gum.
there is The Goblin Throne by Mel Gilman with Iron Circus on Kickstarter through June 30th. Tad the Goblin
I talked
title
to
is amazing.
Spike yesterday and that'll go up sometime today or tomorrow.
There we go. Then there's the Comics Courier number 4 by Tiffany Babb on Kickstarter through July 1st.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Tiffany about this volume of the Comics Courier, but
previous ones. There
I
we
have
go.
talked to her about a previous Comics Courier, and I need to reach out because like she's one of my baseball buds.
Oh, nice. Next up, Stellar Remnant number 2 from Damon, George, and Hampton on Kickstarter through July 15th.
Check out the discussion with Damon.
There we go. The Forgotten Divine by Mark Russell and Russ Brown from
Braun.
Ahoy. Braun, thank you. From Ahoy on Kickstarter, launching soon. That's a little bit of further back conversation Tad's had hyping up this one.
Yeah,
but,
and 2 of them, both a conversation with Mark and Russ and a conversation with Tom Pyre and Stuart Moore.
The founders of Ahoy?
Yeah. 2 of the founders of Ahoy and like the head editorial people.
Nice.
And both with the Vertigo
resumes.
Right.
That's from back in the day. That's true.
Right.
I've also heard that Ahoy is one of the better paying comics publishers out there. So if you're an artist,
yes.
Then there's
and pays on time. And also
great.
Word is that this one will launch this week.
Oh, okay, there we go. The soon is indeed soon. Next, there's Nerd Emergencies and Other Misunderstandings, a comic showcase of neurodivergent perspectives from Andrew Coltrane, Paltry Robot, and Zuzu Cartoons. Partly Robot and Zuzu Cartoons. Thank you. On Kickstarter, also launching soon. I'm assuming that you talked to...
I talked to Andrew
Not a robot?
for a couple hours on Friday.
Oh,
and that should go up in the next couple of days.
And then there's the Tezuka, God of Manga documentary by Jason Cohn on Kickstarter, launching soon. Tad has talked to him. Go check out that episode.
That was a fun talk.
Nice. And then there's Scar Tissue.
I mean, they're all fun talks. Why don't you guys listen to them all? How is it that my mom listens to more episodes than my coworkers?
She birthed you.
And she's retired.
Okay, that'll do
and
it.
Before she was retired, she had like a 45-minute drive to and from work every day.
There you go. That'll do it.
So, okay. Yeah. I get it, but still.
Scar Tissue.
You guys are the co-hosts. You're supposed to be supportive.
I know. I need to listen to this one because Stephen Fox is in my neck of the woods.
Right. My mom doesn't listen at all. She does not really get what I'm into.
Well,
so
of
she
course
doesn't-
not.
so
Because,
she
like,
doesn't
if
try.
you don't even listen, why should she listen? Because she wouldn't have anything to talk. She'd be like, Tyler, so I was listening to your podcast and Tad was talking to so and so, and you'd be like,
Right. I send my mom. I send my mom the interviews I've done. I don't think she hasn't told me she's listened to them yet, though, so that's okay. It's clear Tad's mom loves
Here-
him the most out of all our
he-
moms.
Here's the
So,
thing.
you know.
And here's the thing. It's not that, Ted. It's that she really doesn't care about this at all.
Oh, the knife in the heart.
I'm not kidding.
Oh.
You guys, my mom is a very direct person. Like
All right.
she will not do things out of sentimentality because it's her boy.
Okay.
Yeah. See, like,
this show is about comic books and it's left wing. She doesn't want anything to do with it.
oh, the
Uh-oh.
left wing. I forgot that part. Yeah.
Part of it.
I'm
Part
sorry.
of it.
Yeah.
Part
Do we
of
need
it.
to ask Tyler's mom where she was on January 6th? Oh no. Oh no.
Well,
Here's
this
the
year
thing.
she was just throwing a party for to celebrate all the pardons.
Oh God.
No.
She made a cake.
I'm
Oh,
going to be
no.
I'm going to be very clear. My
Yep.
mom is anti-Trump, but
Okay.
she
Oh,
is
okay.
definitely not where I'm at though.
Okay. So she doesn't like Trump,
She's
but
more
she
of a
still
Lincoln
likes
Republican or
still likes some
or
Republicans.
bulwark person.
She's still
terrified.
Hold on one second. I'm getting a message.
There we go. So go listen to Tad's conversation with Stephen Fox about Scar Tissue Bargains, which is a Kickstarter that's launching soon. Stephen is a creator from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, I believe.
Your neck of the woods.
Yeah, so it's next
Yeah,
time over. I get dinner from there
I
a couple times.
gotta connect the two of you. I keep forgetting
Right?
to.
He appeared to me in a dream. If he looks like how he appeared in my dream, then
Okay.
yeah, we'll know. We'll know. But
That'll
yeah,
be weird.
it
That'll be
was.
weird.
It was a very weird one. I've met several people in dreams. Let's not get into that. Let's get into humble bundles. Tyler, what humble bundles do we have?
Not very good ones. Oh, I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm joking.
I've actually paid for 2 of these already, and a third one will almost certainly be paid for, and I'm still debating the fourth.
No, they're really good. I just went through and rechecked to make sure that we were still up to date on our humble bundles. So Infinite Dread horror comics from Oni Press is $18, you guys, and gets you 23 different items, including Cemetery Kids Don't Die, Dwellings, and Meat Eaters. This is the Book Industry Charitable Foundation, and it's now been extended through June 13th. So more time to get on that. Hot Mess Express, a bundle of misfit heroes and hilarious hijinks from Image, is $18. Really good deal. You get 49 items, including 8 Billion Genies, God Hates Astronauts, I Hate Fairyland, Monkey Meat, Shirtless Bear Fighter, and Snot Girl. This goes towards Book Industry Charitable Foundation as well. And this is now through June 9th, which is coming up. So make sure that you are out there and you buy your Hot Mess Express bundle. Next up, Kodansha presents BL, Yuri and more from Ichi Nijinsha. Is that correct?
I think it's
Ichijinsha?
Ichijinsha.
Okay.
Is one of their imprints.
Okay. $30 will get you 61 items. That's more than 100 volumes of their stuff.
As many of the items are like volumes 1 through 5 or volumes 6 through 10.
I mean,
it's interesting.
hundreds.
It's interesting that they're combining BL and Yuri here because I imagine that those are kind of opposite audiences, but you never know.
I mean,
I'm sure there's crossover.
I think it all falls into most popular among teenage girls.
Okay, that's fair.
And then last for Humble Bundles is the Ablaze manga collection.
And actually,
more.
Really quickly though, we haven't defined BL is boys love.
Yes,
it is a major manga thing to have boys in love with each other, like romance comics and involving 2 boys.
Apparently, it's got quite the reputation as well as kind of being a little bit of like trashy romance. Like that's how people look down on the readers of it, even though the community is like quite vibrant and inclusive.
Right.
Well,
So Yeah.
Last, we've got the
So it's
Ablaze.
Tyler's favorite stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Nothing but the best.
What do you talk? My favorite stuff, like
Sorry.
The boys love.
the boys love. I actually, yeah, I had a magazine when I was a kid called Boys Life. Not too different.
Oh, sure,
You
sure.
know, I mean, yeah.
There is love in life, that is for sure.
Okay. A Blaze manga collection and more. $18 gets you 61 items. And it's going to the Starlight Children's Foundation, and that is running through June 20th.
And that includes a number of Tezuka books.
Ooh.
Um,
But some of which do they have any of the hard to find ones or?
um, kind of. Let me pull it up because what they've done a lot of is like he did Shakespeare adaptations. So there's like
Oh,
the
I didn't know
Tezuka
that.
Shakespeare.
Wow.
Here, let me pull it up really quick because
That is indeed
I
wild.
meant to highlight this a little bit more at some point, and I
Mhm.
kept forgetting. So there's Tezuka's 100 Tales. There's Tomorrow of the Birds. His Shakespeare Manga Theater
Fascinating.
and Neo Faust.
Oh,
So
interesting.
those are the four Tezuka included in this collection. So also
Excellent.
it has I don't know if it's pronounced Treese or Tresse, which is actually I think a Korean comic, but is considered one of the best crime comics of like I mean I've only read the first couple of volumes, but it's one of the best recorded crime comics. Filipino, award-winning Filipino
Okay.
comic book and soon to be Netflix anime series. When the sun sets on the city of Manila, don't you dare make a wrong turn and end up in that dimly lit side of the metro where blood-sucking aswang run the most wanted kidnapping rings, where gigantic capre are the kingpins of crime and magical encantos slip through the cracks and steal your most precious possessions. When crime takes a turn for the weird, the police call Alexandra Tresse. Volume 1, Murder at the Ballet Drive, features all new redrawn artwork throughout and includes a substantial bonus section with behind-the-scenes sketches, info, and details making of the book and further insight into the world. So yeah, all 6 volumes of that are part of this as well. Yeah,
Nice.
That
sounds fascinating.
A Blaze doesn't. I mean, a Blaze does original work. They brought us Mark Russell's Traveling to Mars.
Oh, right. That was a good one.
They probably do most bringing European work to the United States, but their selection of East Asian work is very good. It's limited, but what they have is very
Top of the line.
like when a Blaze does anything East Asian, I assume I'm gonna like it.
Nice.
So yeah. And all of that stuff's available for $18 right now. So
18 whole dollars.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, 3 books I fucking adored this week. FML number 8 from Kelly Sue DeConnick and David Lopez. It's been a long time coming, but oh my God, was it a satisfying end to this chapter. I can't wait till the next chapter. This chapter, like, centered, I mean, it had the whole family, but it essentially centered on the mom and son. The next chapter is going to be written by Matt and center on the dad and daughter.
Wow.
So I can't wait for that. Yeah,
that's fascinating.
It always bittersweet to know that, oh, this is such a like wonderfully wrapped up thing, but now I don't know when I get to see these characters again, and I'm gonna
Right.
miss them.
Oh, I actually put off
Um,
reading issue 7 until this one was out, and I still need to pick it up. So
right.
I need to catch up and read the finale, but I'm excited for it.
On the other end of the spectrum, I got to meet, and I can't remember the character's name because I'm terrible with names, but Junk Punch #1 from Paul Tobin, Carlos Javier Oliveras, and Colleen Coover, where we've got a future semi near future society where among other things people some people have like one part superpowers, one part compulsions, and our main character has that compulsion to occasionally just punch people in the junk. Um, and she does good in the world with it. Uh,
I mean,
and
I'm going to
hilarity
assume.
ensues.
I'm going to
And
assume
hilarity
anyone,
ensues. That's the way I'll put it.
right?
Um, and great to see like Colleen teamed with her husband on the backstories too. I mean, Colleen might be doing more of the writing on the backstories too, but the character is clearly one that they came up with together. Because the backup story is almost like earlier in the life of Junk Punch.
Is that the name of the character too? That's how she's referred to?
I mean, that's how some people know her.
Okay.
Um, Again, I should pull it up so I get the name of the character right. But I'm if I do that, we're already leaning long this week, so I don't want to do that. But yes, anybody who has read Bandit and anybody who hasn't read Bandit should go dig up Bandit because both Paul Tobin and Colleen Coover are like absolutely phenomenal um phenomenal comic creators in their own right. But this book that they did together is like one of the best things ever. It's just it's 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 both silly and noirish.
Hmm. That's a difficult combo to pull off.
You know. Um yeah. So I have been we've had Tobin on a couple of times, and I'm gonna have to reach out again because this one's so good. Maybe Colleen will come too this time. Um, but yeah, such a fan of their work. And then my final pick this week was The Ring, The Man Who Beat the Man from Gail
That was
Simone
so
and
good.
Elisa Romboli. Yep. Boxing is on the list of things that like I have zero interest in real life, and so often like comic stories about it.
It's fun, like wrestling, right?
Yeah,
Like we don't,
right.
I don't really
I
care about
still haven't.
wrestling.
I think it's more likely that I could eventually get hooked on wrestling at some level, though it still hasn't happened.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think I'll ever be able to watch real boxing and not think about the head injuries. So I can't imagine
Yeah.
myself ever getting into boxing for real. But lots of the stories that come out of this are really fantastic. So those are my three amazing books.
Nice.
Um, all right, Phil, take a walk.
Yeah,
I'm
Phil,
tired. I am tired. You
you're
know,
old.
I am old. Um, but yeah, I didn't get to reading much this week. Although I'm hoping to sit down with the small pile after this. I just flipped through the first few pages of In Your Skin by Adichie Bidikar and Sam, and it started to suck me in. So yeah, so I think
It's
that's
so good.
yeah, I'm excited. That's the first thing I'm going to be catching up on. But no, I also I changed my pace a little bit for the 1 week race. I checked out the first volume of Die Dark by Q
Okay. See,
Kiyashida.
see, like, and I haven't been doing chapters
Uh-huh.
as well lately, but in
Hmm.
part because if I'm gonna do chapters, we need to have clear like delineation. So you can't just go changing pace for One Piece race. You need to introduce the One Piece race.
That's fair. That's a good point. One Piece race first. Okay, okay, okay. Did you read any One Piece this week, Tad?
I read 3 pages while I was waiting for you guys to log on.
I see. I see. The not quite fast enough for a chapter.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. No, and
It, it,
it's
it is
what's it?
entertaining to just listen to this, right?
Right.
I'm
I mean,
The hem and haw.
like
just
I
sitting
had
here.
really meant to read One Piece this week, and
So
I traveled. I wound up having more fun in conversations while I was on the road and
how
doing
dare
less
you?
time reading than I expected.
Who would have thought?
I know, I know.
Real life actually feels good.
Yeah,
That whole
yeah.
thing?
I know, I know. I don't
Well,
I don't quite live in my bedroom.
right. If I could entice you, I kind of realized while reading it that Die Dark is a little bit of an inverse One Piece because it's about
Okay.
one guy who named Zaha
Piece
Soko.
one.
Not quite. But the thing is that he's like just some weird dude. I'm only 3 chapters in, so I don't quite know what he does for a living here, but he's like known throughout the galaxy as like, oh, he's this guy that if you take his bones, you can get any wish. So he's like a walking treasure that everyone else is hunting. And instead he kills them and takes their bones. It's weird. It's weird, darkly humorous hijinks. The chapter that I just finished reading, they give 2 chapters of intro for this strange dude, and then they flash back to when he's an 8-year-old child running around with an axe. Who again is also presumably being hunted by people who want to take his bones, and the chapters of the book are referred to as bones. So it's
And
weird.
he only has 3 bones.
Well, I only
Or
read three bones.
oh, I see. You
Yeah.
getting all cute in your notes
Well,
and
because
forgetting that we're autistic and like
I don't forget.
and
I
can't
just
understand what that means. I didn't realize until right now that the title of the book wasn't 3 Bones of Die Dark.
no, not quite. That's okay. I am willing to confuse for my own amusement.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see how it is.
Yep. Yep.
There will be retribution.
Absolutely. I count on it.
Okay.
Cool.
Speaking of retribution, what are our great
Some great
responsibilities this week?
responsibility.
Yeah.
So
Little,
I have
little book called A Ronin.
Yeah, no, as I was telling
Not
you
just
guys
anyone.
off air,
Mhm.
I've been reading an advanced reader of Frank Miller's upcoming autobiography, Course Lake.
That might have even been on there. I
I
don't quite remember.
I need to like it's called Push the Wall: My Life Writing, Drawing, and the Art of Storytelling.
Hmm.
And honestly, it reminds me in tone and whatnot a lot. Have either of you read Bob Dylan's Chronicles?
I have not.
No.
It's like every chapter is somewhat on a theme, but what comes out isn't necessarily linear or yeah, that's the best way to put it. The way it comes out isn't necessarily linear.
Okay.
And it's a really enjoyable read. I like it. But when I read the chapter on Ronin, I'm like, the first thing I realized is like, for whatever reason, I had always assumed that Ronin was the book he got to make because Dark Knight Returns had been so successful. And it wasn't. Ronin was the book that he got to make because Daredevil was so successful that DC was willing to give him carte blanche to jump. You know, I don't know if you guys read the introduction or if you had the versions that had introductions from Jeanette Kahn, but he told the meeting in his book, and she tells it in the introduction to Ronin, like essentially they had lunch one day and like she's like, if you could do anything, what would it be? And he started describing Ronin.
Hmm.
He started to explain what a Ronin was. She's like, no, 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 no. I know what a Ronin is. I've seen
Hmm.
Yojimbo. I've seen all of this stuff. So that's when he got excited. It's like, oh, wait, I'm talking to somebody who might really know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Um, and like at the end of it, the hardest thing was that he had to keep copyright and that sort of thing, but like they managed to pull everything off for him, and um he was given essentially carte blanche to go make this book. um and thinking of it that way, I was able to also like compare it to the journey through um Fourth World, Kirby's Fourth World that we've recently taken in the book club,
That's interesting.
where I think this book could be infinitely better with a good editor. It
Yeah.
doesn't need a lot of, the bones are incredible,
Hmm.
and some of the part is fleshed out too much, and some of the
Hmm.
time it's not fleshed out enough. you know it
Yeah.
it it, it takes two or three issues to really understand what the story is, and just as you're understanding what the story is, you hit the twist, which means the twist isn't as impactful because you hadn't fully grokked
Hmm.
what was going on before they go, oh, except that's not what's really going.
Oh yeah.
um but also sitting there and reading it in 2026, where AI is on our tongues all the time, and essentially seeing this cautionary tale for, and not like a Asimov. I mean, certainly inspired somewhat by an Asimov iRobot or whatever, but still a very different type of cautionary tale of like, yeah, automating everything could be problematic.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
um
I'd even be so the thing that strikes me most about this one of Frank Miller's works, are either of you guys familiar with Orientalism, which was a book by Edward Said, in published in 1978.
I feel
Basically,
like
it's important.
I, I feel like I know it, but I haven't read it.
It's a term that gets thrown around a lot, but what it ultimately boils down to is, the patterns in which Western authors and philosophers and artists have depicted the Eastern world throughout history. And so it's often used with negative connotations. And so it's something that I try to consider a lot in terms of like I am absolutely the kind of person, a white person living in America who wants to write about the things that I've seen from Japan, anime and samurai and ninjas and stuff, but doing it in a way that's respectful and not you know
Pandering.
yeah, yeah, not cultural appropriation, not
Yeah.
depicting.
I'm the white guy who wants to write about ninjas. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
yes. I don't want to be Akira Yoshida. And like it, it's the kind of thing that I think there's elements of this in Ronin, but a typical um it's not a typical depiction, it's
No,
leaning.
obviously not with the
Yeah.
time change of going from feudal Japan
Hmm.
to right this
This far future
dystopian
cyborg
cyberpunk
landscape.
type future.
Yeah, yeah.
And we
Um,
switched locations. We're in, I think, New York City, right?
yeah.
Versus Japan.
Hmm.
Um, it is completely different. But so I get what you're saying
Hmm.
though about Frank Miller.
Yeah.
In my opinion, maybe not being the most culturally appropriate person to be writing Ronin
Hmm.
stories, but
But and I guess it's especially interesting when because I'm just trying to look up here real quick when Akira was first brought
Published.
to the US, first translated here because like it's because I also kind of temporally
And I'm going to
misplaced it.
quickly point out because
Uh-huh.
I had to go check it and look it up to make certain that it was what you were referencing. I
Hmm.
don't think we should reference Akira Yoshida without making like actual point that that's Marvel editor in chief CB Cebulski.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
using
the
a pseudonym to write
hmm
Marvel manga.
yeah,
Um,
and it's the kind of behavior
and that
that
which is way more extreme
oh yeah,
than
oh
anything
yeah,
done here because I do
absolutely.
have kind of a response to that, and then I definitely want to talk about some of the art styles specifically with the artist here. But
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh, you're
interrupt
fine.
you too much.
No, it's okay. I was just
I'll let
leaning
you go back.
towards. So I was just thinking about. So this book, I had also temporarily misplaced it as being after Dark Knight Returns and maybe in the early 90s. But the fact that it came out in 83, 84, before Dark Knight Returns, is like this is also a book that was heavily influenced by the history of Japan as well as manga in general. That was kind of like if this book is unfortunately there's like an audience of American comics readers that this was their introduction to manga. This was the one of the first manga-like books that hit the market and people read and really took off and that they absorbed,
I
you know.
think Lone Wolf and Cub was being printed by First already.
So I actually read at least a note on Wikipedia is that Miller was heavily influenced by Lone Wolf and Cub, but it hadn't been translated yet. So he was just reading the pictures. He wasn't able to read the
Okay.
text. So yes, it that's the thing is it was, he was doing a lot of research on samurai and the ethics of Bushido for Daredevil, and
Right.
that's where a lot of this was born into. So it's one of those things that the way I look at it, I think that aspects of Orientalism are going to be unavoidable as someone who was born in the West that is now interested in and trying to understand this other culture. It's just that, what I think separates a book like Ronin from uh I mean, I'm trying to think of any clearly like from even 10, 20 years before, I guess something like Green Hornet, even, that, depicted Kato as like this silent martial arts badass. It's different because it is directly referencing the culture and not just trying to take the elements and commercialize them. I don't think. I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my overall response, because I often have a pretty big radar for cultural appropriation, and it didn't
Mhm,
really get set off by this, as Daredevil also doesn't set it off, but I could see
mhm,
it setting off for some people, and I think there are two reasons why it never really sets off my appropriation
mhm,
radar. The first is um that there's a sense of reverence without like um pedestal worship, if that makes sense. But the second is that they don't try to assert um knowledge that they don't have.
right. That's a
That's
huge
true.
piece.
Yeah,
That is a
they're
huge
not
You
piece.
making
know that
assumptions based on nothing.
right that
Hmm.
there is a limited amount of direct cultural reference, and then
Hmm.
the character is um put in an environment that is either completely fictional or
Hmm.
one in which the author knows the environment better.
Right. And I think
So that sometimes means that the characters don't have the same level of depth that they might have if they were, but they also
Mhm,
are not primary characters for that reason. I mean, this is called
mhm.
Ronin,
Yeah.
but Casey is the main character in the book, which is
Yeah.
something that I think I'd also really kind of forgotten, that this is way more
Mhm,
a Casey McKenna story than it is a Ronin story.
mhm.
Um,
Which along those lines, I don't think it's come out yet, but how do you feel about expanding this book into, a series where I think they did a prequel and now a sequel is
I
on
mean,
the
I
horizon?
I read at least a couple of issues of the Ronin 2,
Mm,
and like I thought about like having it be the next thing we read, but I'd have to dig up my copies, or it's not available digital anywhere,
yeah.
so I'd either have to dig up my copies or buy a trade, and I didn't think that I wanted to do that right away.
Hmm.
um I enjoyed the issues, but because I did them as issues mixed in between other stuff, because they didn't come out on a strict month to month schedule,
Hmm.
I don't have like any deep thoughts regarding
Yeah.
the second volume of Ronin that has been
Yeah.
released so far. I don't have a problem with him doing more work in the universe.
Hmm.
um Again, it always comes down, like, because I don't think it's appropriation just for somebody who is not that background
Right.
to write.
I agree. I agree because otherwise you would then, basically force everyone into a corner of white supremacy. Oh, white people can only write about
Right,
white people. That's
right,
not a future we
right.
want. Um,
um
and I think a
but
good
but I
counter
think I think the how you do it matters a lot.
it does.
um and
It,
historically, whether it's this or 300,
mhm.
um I mean, because in some ways there are even more arguments about 300, because historically,
There are.
Miller doesn't do
Hmm.
the other Greeks that were there, and it was their retreat that Athens,
Hmm.
or that Sparta and some of the other ones were covering, that sort of thing.
Right.
Justice, but he doesn't claim to be strictly a historical story,
Hmm.
and most of his depiction of the culture is pretty
So I
accurate,
think I think
you know.
the real Orientalist gem in Miller's work is Holy Terror. Like
Yeah, that's a
that's
whole.
yeah, that's crystallized. That's
I,
like
I am mostly
pretty much the
willing
worst
to.
example of that.
I am mostly willing. I mean, I would be willing to have a conversation of Xerxes, the
Sure.
the the follow up to 300,
I haven't read
because
that one, but yeah.
certainly not one of his best works, and I think falls a little bit more towards Orientalism than true um
Then 300 did, or
cultural
even
depiction,
yeah.
right? um Holy Terror I view as a nervous breakdown that somebody was willing to print.
That's probably the most charitable interpretation of it that I can imagine, yeah.
Agreed. That's a good
but
one.
but but
Yeah.
more and more, like, since he's finally managed to recover from that nervous breakdown, he
Sure.
seems to be much more himself, and
Yeah.
have slid back into the comics community, and the stuff that he's putting out doesn't resemble the Holy Terror type stuff
Right. Right.
anymore, um like, so I view that as like somebody who was traumatized because like this major thing happened like
Yeah.
in his neighborhood. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's something that has to be like, I think it's worth pointing out. This
Hmm.
isn't the rich guy from California that became
Right.
anti-Muslim after the towers came down. This is the
Right.
guy that lived close enough watched the towers come down.
Right. And I mean, and while that's, hardly an excuse, it's absolutely a
An
major piece of
explanation.
how it happened. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And like as things go, if the worst thing you do is draw and publish a terrible story, but you don't hurt anybody, you don't.
I mean, and this is
And
where
yes, no, the story. I understand the ripple effects of the story,
Mhm, mhm.
but when you're not doing huge amounts of other stuff, and you have ripple effects from other stories that counter the. I mean, like. I'm sorry. The Batman of the Dark Knight Returns, and certainly the
Mhm.
Daredevil of his run, would kick the shit out of the character in Holy Terror who had to have the bat ears
Well, yeah, sanded off.
removed.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never even managed to get all the way through the book.
Yeah.
In part because it doesn't feel like Frank Miller. It feels
Hmm.
like Frank Miller in ridiculous anger and pain.
Hmm. I mean, I'd
You
be
know,
interested.
I mean, really where
Mhm.
I'm going with this is if his name wasn't Frank Miller,
Yeah.
we never would have seen it.
Right. I
Correct.
mean, well, yeah. I'm trying to think
I
of,
mean, there are a handful of other names that he could have where we would have seen
sure.
it. But like given the years, I mean, in the year that it came out, even if his
Mhm.
name has been Brian Bendis, we wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I mean, I think what I
You
was going to
know,
say.
Bendis was big. Some people would actually say
Mhm.
Bendis was peaking, but he did not have the clout to have that sort of.
No,
And
no,
again, remember, DC ditched it. He had to
they did.
redo the art.
Mhm.
Legendary, who had no comic book publishing at the time and has
Yeah,
been in and out of comics ever since,
yeah. And I think,
and who had done the 300 movie,
yeah,
is the
I
one
just
that
wanted to,
published it.
I think that ultimately the hero in the meta story of Holy Terror is the fans of Frank Miller's and the audience that I think rejected it pretty heavily at the time and saw it for what it was. Of
Um,
that, I mean, there are people out there who say, but it's a good book, and I mean, I don't really care what they have to say, but like, I mean, I haven't met anyone personally who holds it up as like, oh, it's actually good. Like, no, I think
I mean, I
most people
actually
look at
think
it.
it's a lot better than I thought it was the first time I read it.
It's possible, yeah.
Um, most of what I've heard in
Unlikely, but
terms,
possible.
most of what I've heard in terms of it selling,
Hmm.
and we're talking Ronin, not Holy Terror, right?
Right, right, right.
Yes,
We
yes.
should.
Okay, I just wanted to make certain because,
Let's get back to topic here.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
well,
okay. No, I was talking about
and
Holy Terror
because,
at the moment.
oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah,
I
no,
meant that
Holy
one.
Terror
Yeah,
is not a good book.
exactly. Yeah, and that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying is I think
it,
people recognize that for
right.
at the time.
No, I mean,
You know.
like
Hmm.
I would actively not sell it. We had
Yeah,
one copy at the comic shop that I worked at for a
yeah.
long time
Just
because I would
keep
talk
it
people
way in
out
the
of
back.
it.
Right?
I would
Yeah.
regularly move it away from
No. Yeah.
major.
And I think I see exactly what you mean of if it was anyone other than Frank Miller, someone who at the time could sneeze on a piece of paper and people would buy it, it would never have
Yeah.
seen the light of day.
Well, and the fact that it was Frank Miller and it still had to find a publisher
Yes. Yes.
is another huge sign
Hmm.
that, like, even at the time, people were looking at it and going, Frank,
Yeah.
maybe,
Uh,
you need.
maybe
I don't know
therapy.
if he deals with it in his book. I'm kind of curious
Yeah.
as to whether there will be a chapter on that because,
That, yeah.
like, not
I'd be interested to hear what he has to say.
none of what I've seen so far again indicates that. I
Hmm.
mean, like one of the things about this, one of the things about Martha Washington, which comes at which this also, it clearly paves the way to Dark Knight Returns, but it also paves the
Hmm.
way to Martha Washington in Sin City. He was
Hmm.
one, way before you were seeing them. You know, Casey is black.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Martha
That's
Washington is black.
right.
Way before other people were, he was putting serious both color and gender representation into his books. That's the other thing. Casey is in no way, shape, or form like the damsel in distress.
Right. She's a very
It
full of
even winds up
agency,
getting commented on when we
active part of the
discover
plot.
that the Ronin is like a manifestation of this character that has like telekinetic powers, that like, oh, he's obsessed with you, but he's not obsessed with you in a he wants to save you way. He's obsessed with you in a he wants to be your equal way.
Yeah. And the few images I've seen of a kid with telekinetic powers for Ronin 2 is kind of where I'm drawing the connection between that and Akira a little bit.
Right.
Because that was one of the first big manga to be translated into English for
Yeah,
the US.
which I still have to read all of. I now have
Yeah.
all of the
The big
recent
ones.
hardcover
I
deluxe editions that have come out.
kind of want to get the
as
color
they
ones.
came out.
Nice.
Well, I don't know if all of them are color. I can't remember if they're
I
color
think
or not.
I heard that there's
They're
a color
left to
edition.
right, and
Okay, good.
I know
yeah.
the pages that are color because there were pages that were color originally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to figure that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do want to before we start wrapping up, because we need to. I do want to pivot though, and particularly to art or to Tyler. Talk to me about the art, because this really does bridge between he was starting to push boundaries, but he was still well within the boundaries of traditional superhero comic art in his time on Daredevil. And this brings in
so
manga influences, this brings in Bandai Disney influences, this creates some things that I can't even say specifically this is influenced here or there. Like it's like created by Miller from his influences. Like
Right.
And I honestly, overall with this book, I think that's the biggest reason that it didn't have great initial sales, is as much as people loved Miller, people didn't know what they were looking at.
Right. He was definitely more abstract than previously.
Right. And as we talked about, the first couple of issues, it's that much harder to really wrap your head around. So I imagine that there was like a serious fall off in readership between issues.
Who didn't stick with it.
So my opinion is that, Miller was greatly influenced by Japanese manga, right? That's really prevalent, right? Lone Wolf and Cub. You can see that he adapted the similar pacing and the large panels. But then also, right, incorporating this European style sci-fi with surreal, detailed stuff going on, right? Kind of like do you guys know
I mean, it was
Mobius?
Varley doing the cover, but the
French
color
artist,
reminds me so much more of
Yes.
Mobius and
for
other
sure.
Thank you. Yes.
Bandai
Okay.
Disney. Yeah.
Yes, the French artist is who I was going. The Mobius. Yeah,
Mobius,
Jean Garat. Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's so visible and chaotic and organic and melting cyber structures, right? And it's just beautiful, but yet this conglomeration of like two different styles. And then I like that he used his own pencils instead of a traditional ink.
Okay.
Instead of a traditional comic book inker, right? So it looks a lot more raw and gritty and like more expressive, right? Like a Jeff Lemire drawing, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Lemire is really fluid, right? Just all over the place, and not that Frank Miller.
Yeah, this is definitely way looser than Miller had been before this.
Because he had been getting.
If that's strictly because of the Klaus Janson, Terry Austin inks, or if he was. I mean, he seems to indicate in his writing that he also allowed himself to become looser, that he was trying to breathe and try different storytelling things. And
this is before it got really bad. I mean, before all of his characters were squished, But anyway, the line work in this is huge because it really relies heavily on those black shadows and jagged lines. And the imperfections were on purpose. It
Yeah.
wasn't because he can't draw, it was because he's trying to give this psychological instability, create this whole like vibe for the characters. And
Yeah.
then also, it works amazing with all of the action going on, right? The combat scenes are so crazy and frantic and violent, and the speed lines and the asymmetry panels and all of it just ah,
Yeah.
I
It's
think I
it's
think
balls
works
to the
really,
wall.
yeah, and then the coloring, let's just get to the coloring, right? Lynn
Hmm.
Barley is much different, right? It was revolutionary for 1983.
Oh yeah.
um because at the time they were restricted to cheap, like dot matrix type printers, right?
Hmm.
And so Varley was using all kinds of different watercolor tinting techniques and things like that that DC was doing.
Yeah. I'm wondering because I know originally there were a limited number of colors that could be done. I forget how many it is, if it's like 28 or 36 or so.
I think
But I'd be
64.
64. Okay. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, but I'd wonder if for the printing of this book, if this was the start of advancements in printing technology to where they moved on from like the newsprint like you
Correct.
said, the dot matrix printing
Yep.
to being able to do gradients even.
Correct. Yep.
You
So
know.
he is very lush, moody watercolors, right? To
Hmm.
separate the two separate worlds, right? And just different tones that he used in the earthy natural tones, while the future stuff was definitely more yuckly neon, kind of
Hmm.
sick. And to me it felt like it was poisoned, diseased a little bit
Yeah,
because, right, I don't know if that's the right word, but just the colors and the way you're bathed in the neon light, sometimes you're like,
it was
ew.
smog and definitely felt a little toxic.
The coloring definitely went a long way to the oppressive nature of the cyberpunk city,
Hmm.
you know um but I love it because this is definitely a precursor to what would become Sin City or The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
I think,
so this is, to me, this was great because it shows where he was, and then we already know where he's going years
yeah,
later.
yeah. I definitely think that the coloring for Dark Knight Returns feels like it takes these techniques and evolves them,
Hmm.
and really helps like
It's tough to
yeah.
get into, like Dark Knight Returns, right? Because you have all of these talking head panels,
Hmm.
right? And they're all line drawings with a background of watercolor. And
Hmm.
so after a while, it does look kind of, I don't know, too similar. But I know that's what they're going for with that 9 panel grid, just to.
Or 16. They
It's
do
16.
16. Yeah, it's four
Okay.
by four.
Okay. Okay.
It's the wall of sound is how they refer to it.
Yeah, but it's constant throughout that book, and it's just
Mhm.
over. It's sometimes it's overwhelming,
Oh yeah, it definitely
in
is.
you know. Just the
I
amount, because I had a customer yesterday get not me, get from me the compact edition of the Dark Knight Returns that I have
oh,
in
that would
stock,
be too much for me.
those little compact things, and he says, do you like them this small? I said, no, not really. And he
Yeah.
says,
I like
why?
some.
And I said, listen, it's great if you want to throw this in your backpack
Yeah.
and you just want it. But I said, I cannot read all of those panels when they're this small now because we're reading this compact thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was just a conversation I had yesterday, so that was kind of funny.
It might be good for people getting into comics and people, especially people more familiar with the manga trim size,
Hmm.
but yeah, I can't imagine because I think
I'm
I've
selling
seen,
I'm selling a
yeah,
lot of those, like
really?
Superman,
Okay.
Superman Red Sun,
Hmm.
Gotham by Gaslight,
Hmm.
The Dark Knight Returns.
Hmm.
I mean, DC is doing a ton of classic stories in that
Yeah.
format, and they're selling really well because they're done on newsprint, so they're cheap.
Oh, okay. Yeah, All-Star Superman. I think I saw that at least for All-Star Superman, they had to like increase the size of the bubbles, the speech balloons in a few areas just because, and I don't know if they
Gets
do that
hit.
for everything because yeah, it'd be hard to read if it was straight shrunk.
It does. And I pointed this out to the kid. I'm like, listen, hey, if
Mhm,
you want to read the story, it's dense. It's great, but
mhm.
reading it in a compact form, I think would be annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
I just can't do it because I have to carry because I don't like bifocals at all.
Mhm.
So I'm wearing my regular glasses and then I also carry around my reading glasses. So
Oh, okay.
I'm constantly
See,
switching.
I've gone to progressive lenses at this point.
I couldn't do it. It gave me such a headache, Ted. I had a pair of progressives for a while,
Yeah,
and I'm just like, oh, gave me a headache. So now when I realize, oh, I can't read that, then I just switch glasses.
gotcha.
That's all I do. And it's gotten to the point where I have to carry them with me in my backpack. So
All right. Any parting words on Ronin?
it was awesome. I know we kind of like picked on Frank a little bit whether he did some cultural appropriation, but I think we came to the conclusion that he did not. It
Hmm.
was
Or at least not
Or
severely so.
I think so. Here's the thing: is that the way I think of it is that I mean, cultural appropriation, again, it's a term that has a lot of negative connotation, but I think it's the first step to cultural exchange.
to
You know,
cultural understanding.
yeah,
Right.
is that, and so the important thing is that if, oh, okay, I've taken something from this other culture, it's important to give back or respect in some way as well.
Right.
And I at least for the time, for what he had, um, I do think that this was done with appreciation and honor, hopefully,
I
Yes,
and
mean,
I agree.
not with hate
I,
and malice.
I'm
No.
somebody who thinks that Frank has two great masterpieces where he was the writer and artist,
Hmm.
and those are
Sin
Daredevil
City.
and Sin City.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I absolutely see, and frankly, the two best works that he's ever done
Hmm.
are Daredevil Born Again and Batman Year One, but Mazzucchelli was the artist on both of those,
Yep.
right? Um, but I think that this was a necessary step
Oh, for sure.
between the greatness that was Daredevil
Hmm.
and the equally but very different greatness of Sin City. Um, where he was not only clearly reading comics that were way outside of the American norm, but
Hmm.
then playing with both trying to recreate them, but trying to recreate them with his own flourish and like pushing the boundaries of American comics with them rather than, oh, I'm gonna go make a manga or oh, I'm
Right.
gonna go make a bande dessinée,
Yeah.
you know. Um, so this book, like when I read that it was experimental, it had me come back to it with a different,
Right.
and it's like, oh, I can see how he's working on things, and sometimes
Hmm.
it works better than others. And I almost wonder if like he got, and he didn't hit on this hard, but I almost wonder if there's a level in which, I mean, because I don't know if you guys felt like it. I felt like the last three issues had way better overall storytelling than the first three issues.
Oh, for sure.
I thought the pacing was better. Yes.
I thought the
Hmm.
pacing was better. I thought the dialogue was better. I thought that they were better at making certain that you knew the things that you needed to know.
Hmm.
Correct. It wasn't
I'm
it. Yeah, yeah,
certain
yeah.
there are things that I could possibly glean from the art in the early issues that I just couldn't, or if I'd like immediately reread it knowing everything, I could go, "Oh, this was supposed to tell me that."
Hmm.
Right? But like there's a certain level for me anyway, and you guys correct me if you had a different experience, but for me even and again, it's my first read in 20 years, but it's probably my fourth or fifth read entirely. I mean, there were things that were totally unlocked from having seen him write about it. Like
Yeah.
so it's like the joke that has to be explained, right?
Hmm.
Um but even with that, those first three issues, I'm like, I know that this is supposed to be this stuff going on, but I'm not feeling it entirely. I don't
Hmm.
start feeling the corporate satire's not even quite the right word.
Hmm.
The social commentary on corporations
Hmm.
as heavily in the in the first three issues as you do in the last three issues. I don't
Right, right.
feel um the the dying world
Yeah.
the same way until later on, so I wonder if like he was doing so much in terms of experimentation and playing with tools and playing with whatnot that he almost lost track of the story early on, and as he became more comfortable in the style that he was creating,
Hmm.
Kind of
was
brought
So
it
able
back.
to also go, oh, this isn't clear, I gotta
the thing is, though, is that
add this.
that like sort of like slow paced, very like space oriented, kind of a lot of calmness and openness is there's a Japanese storytelling principle that's like their 5 act structure, or I think it's called like Jahyukyo. I'm butchering
Right.
the pronunciation, but the principle is it means like begin, rest, conclude. The idea that you open something slowly and take your time, but then you conclude it rapidly and with precision. So like he's even influenced by Japanese storytelling techniques of having that more freeform beginning that then takes a minute to come together and conclude very thrillingly and quickly at the end there. So yeah, I mean I think for me, because I read this for the first time in college, I didn't get that it was like an experimental sort of work. I was expecting a straightforward action comic in the way that I had expected, like Dark Knight Returns kind of,
Right.
which even that's
Right.
not a fully straightforward action comic, but yeah, so I think it's a book that I am getting more and more intrigued by it the more you talk about how he had talked about it, and the couple of points I read of like kind of realizing that, oh yeah, this is the missing link between Daredevil and Batman, and that I'd love to place it read when I finally do get around to reading Akira. I'd love to reread this again afterwards, and kind of as well as Lone Wolf and
Right.
Cub, and kind of so it's, I guess I would put it at, I definitely, the first time I read it, didn't really enjoy it. And
Yeah,
I'm
again, I haven't
yeah.
read it in 20 years
Yeah. I definitely would
because I
again.
I didn't think about it on nearly the level that I think of it
Right.
now.
It's a book I
Um
think I would continue to
and
enjoy
here's
rereading.
actually something interesting. It was coming out somewhat contemporaneously with Akira.
That is very interesting. Yeah.
So, I mean, Lone Wolf and Cub is definitely the more, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Miller by that point was getting contemporary.
Hmm.
Okay, this started in July of 83. Akira started in December of 82.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to check out when it was translated and published. But because, I mean, if he was
Oh yeah,
reading,
no, first
hmm
translation to the US was I think significantly later than that, even though it
yeah.
was
Well, it was
much
first published,
faster than most things.
right, published by Marvel of all places originally.
Yeah.
But no, I would imagine that even if it wasn't translated, he was possibly influenced by it, because I mean it's the same thing with Lone Wolf and Cub. He was
Right.
reading the story of that. So for sure.
Yeah, well, actually it looks like Kodansha met with Marvel in 83.
Oh wow,
So
so
it
that's pretty
was
early on.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, met with them. I'm trying to find the publication date.
Hmm. Oh, here we go. Okay.
First.
Yeah, it said met in 83. Okay. It was colored by Steve Oliff.
Right.
So the thing is, I was also gosh, that's okay. Akira began being published in the American comic book format in the US in 1988 by Epic Comics, an imprint of Marvel.
Okay. Right.
Colorized
There you
version
go.
ended its 38 issue run in 95. So okay, so it was
Right.
so even if Miller was being influenced by the art of Akira, it didn't come out
It was it
until
was
a
it
few years
was
later in
he was
English.
managing to get, somebody was
Hmm
sending him the
The,
I mean,
either
it was
either
originally
mailing
in Young
him
magazine,
volumes or
so
yeah,
he was having volumes of Young magazine either being mailed to him directly or he
yeah,
knew where to get them in New York.
something like that. Yeah, that's wild.
Right.
That's fascinating
Right.
to think about.
Um and I know that he knows and loves Akira because I know that
Hmm
I've heard it mentioned. I think he even mentioned it in the Ronin chapter.
It's
But the Lone Wolf
probably
and
possible.
Cub is definitely the one that made him
The bigger influence on
fall in
this one,
love with manga.
for sure. Yeah.
And Mobius is what,
Oh yeah.
Mobius and Heavy Metal
Well, I
are
think
what made him start seriously looking at European.
nice.
Um so but yeah, like when you think of this as like this artifact of
A good word, artifact
Yeah.
of its time.
hmm
well, not just of its time, but of the American expansion
hmm
into appreciation of international comics.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, um, I mean, yeah, I can totally see this not selling particularly well out of the gate, and it didn't. It didn't come anywhere near meeting their expectations for it.
Mm.
Anybody's expectations for it. Um, but I can also see a lot of. Oh, I'm reading an original Comics Journal
hmm
editorial on it from 1983. This is how Kim
Wow.
Thompson finished. Ronin is a gorgeous package produced and controlled by a single creator. In that, it is a step in the right direction for American comics. Ronin will teach the mainstream companies that they can make a huge amount of money without stealing their creators' ideas, saddling them with unsympathetic and reactionary editors, and printing the material on toilet paper. Miller
Wow.
deserves credit for using his clout to effect this kind of change, and he deserves credit for trying to do something different. I
Wow.
just wish I thought it was any good.
That's a classic Comics Journal.
All right. Three books I hope will be spectacular next week. Skate Ali, #1 from Sam Humphries, Kelly Sue DeConnick, and Natasha Bustos. Forged, #11 from Greg Rucka, Eric Trout, and Mike Henderson. And Daredevil, #3 from Stephanie Phillips and Lee Garbett. At
Hey,
odd
Ted, are you loving this new Daredevil? I am just, I,
first two issues I adore.
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
We haven't really talked about it, but it is really
yeah,
freaking good.
yeah.
Uh,
While I was at Oddmart, I already got Ape because they had it out, which means they probably
Nice.
got it direct from Floating World rather than so Ape is on my list of books that I know are great.
Wow.
Um, those people who've been waiting on like Space Scouts and Good is Dead, we've got collections right now, and probably the collection I'm most looking forward to this or graphic novel I'm most looking forward to this week is Love and Desire in the Promised Land, the private lives of Israelis and Palestinians by
Wow.
Salome Parent Rashidi and DeLupi out from Fantagraphics. So, Phil, what is your giant size trade waiter / graphic novel pick?
That is going to be a little book called Orphan and the Five Beasts: Bath of Blood by James Stokoe over at Dark Horse. The second volume in the Orphan and the Five Beasts series. Great kung fu mythic adventure. Yeah, still need to read this one, but yeah, I love Stokoe's
I
art, so
haven't
I'll
read
read
the
anything he
first one
does.
yet, but
I
it
flipped
sounds
through
like
it.
you have at least.
Well,
Oh no,
I,
you
I
haven't read
at
the first
least
one either.
like I think
You
like
need
an
to read them
issue.
both.
Yeah, I need to read them
Okay,
both. I
need
know.
to go read them both.
Yeah, too many good books out there,
Get on that, dude.
right? I'll let you know.
dude.
Alrighty.
All
Tyra,
right,
you want to take
guys.
us out?
I would. I have my wife and daughter waiting to get going with the day, so I'm going to get going. But thanks for listening, you guys. What episode is this, Ted? Do you know?
This is episode number 239.
239 episodes behind us. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you guys after the next page.
6,
Later.
7.
6, 7.